welcome to what is the very last episode of season 1 of the WhoTubeShow. It doesn't seem like it's the last one. It just feels like yesterday when we were doing episode 1 and wondering whether it would work. Seems to have worked. And today we are joined from somebody across the pond, and we are talking to Grego. Hello, Grego.
Hi, Phil.
How are you doing?
Good. How are you today?
I'm not so bad, thank you. Looking forward to this. We've been waiting a long time for this, haven't we?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well.
Well, let's go for it, and let's get into the icebreakers. So I'm going to ask you questions now. I don't know how familiar you are with the show, but I'm going to ask you questions for your favourites. So a bit of feedback from you, really, to find out what you like. So first of all, your favourite episode or story?
Well, I would have a favorite episode or story in classic Doctor Who and new Doctor Who.
Go for it. It's your
which
show.
To me are very different things.
Yeah.
As far as my favorite episode, it would have to be the first one that I ever saw in the classic era, and that was Horror of Fang Rock in the
Oh,
Tom Baker era. And so, with that being my first introduction to Doctor Who, what got me hooked on it, that would be my favorite of the classic era. And
okay.
then with the new era, it would be The Girl in the Fireplace in the David Tennant era.
Interesting one. That's an interesting one. Watch that again the other day. It's an excellent story. Who's your favourite Doctor? And this one we will go. Your favourite new one, your favourite classic.
Okay. Well, favorite classic would be my first, obviously, Tom Baker. And I think it's due to his acting that Doctor Who gained popularity in the United States. It was being broadcast on PBS, and had it not, I probably would have not seen it when I was younger. Now, as far as new Who, I'm going to go with Christopher Eccleston as being my favorite Doctor, because once again, an excellent actor. He and Billy Piper were able to just absolutely nail Doctor Who when it was brought back.
Yeah, they did. They did. It was great. It was just like there hadn't been a gap with them two. It really was good. A shame he only did one season, though, isn't it? Really, always
Yeah,
being. But
that is a shame.
He is doing the audio dramas now, though, isn't he? So
Right. Yeah,
you know,
that's what I was going to say. Some of his the Big Finish box sets with Christopher Eccleston are absolutely outstanding. It's almost like watching new TV episodes.
I must have a look at that myself or a listen. Right. What about your favourite companion, new and old again?
Oh boy. I liked when there were multiple companions in the Peter Davison era. So I would have to say I liked the interaction between Tegan and Nyssa and the Doctor. And as far as a favorite companion in the new, that's something I had not really thought about before. I guess it would have to be Billy Piper as Rose, because of the success of Doctor Who actually returning to television for so long, and the absolute talent of those actors involved.
Yeah.
So I would have to say, yeah, Rose would probably be my favorite companion if I had to pick one.
Good choice. And you do have to pick one, unfortunately.
Okay.
Today you
It's
do.
your rules.
Yeah, my rules. Your favorite logo. I know this is a strange one. You probably haven't thought about this, but your favorite logo.
I liked the logo in the Peter Davison era because it was new and it was fresh. And I guess it was the only new logo I had ever seen since I had started watching in the Fourth Doctor's era. So when my grandmother and my grandmother was my best Doctor Who buddy. We used to watch it every weekend. When we realized that the Doctor could regenerate, when the Tom Baker Doctor's character died, I remember her saying, "Well, it seems as if he can resurrect." So we were learning about Doctor Who, and then when I saw that there was a new logo, I thought, "Wow, they really can change this thing."
Yeah,
So,
right. Very good reasons. Now, what about your favourite spin-off? There's a few to choose from now.
yeah, well, it would be Sarah Jane, uh, uh, because of the talent of Liz Sladen and the Sarah Jane spinoff, without a doubt. But I just wish it had been a little bit longer.
Yeah, sad. It would. I'm sure it would have been, but yeah, she was tremendous actress, tremendous. Right now, your favorite villain, monster, alien, your favorite adversary, let's say.
Well, I would have to say the Master,
Okay.
because of to me the Master is uh, a character that's or a villain that's really has a tendency to be shrouded in secrecy. That it's almost as if there's always something about the Master that you don't quite know, something that may have never been said or developed. And the Master being able to regenerate also, and having so many different actors that portrayed the Master, um, that makes it a that makes that villain of particular interest to me.
Yeah. So moving on from that, the next question is kind of related. So did you prefer the Master or Missy?
Well, Missy is the Master from my understanding, and
That's true.
yeah, I really liked Missy as the Master. Um, and that could be because my wife liked her as the Master. So when my wife's enjoying it, naturally I'm going to enjoy it, because I want her to have a good time watching Doctor Who with me instead of it just being me. And she really did like Missy as the Master. And in fact, there are a bunch of really good Big Finish stories with Michelle Gomez
Correct.
acting in audio.
Yeah. Correct. Uh, what were your favourite guest star? Now I'm looking for somebody that's been once, twice, three times. Someone that maybe, well, yeah, is a guest star really, rather than a companion.
Well, Phil, that's really hard for me to answer
Hmm.
because I'm not British and I'm not familiar with the names of British actors. Um,
Okay.
and there's never been an actor that has played the Doctor that I had ever heard of before they had been announced. And I
Mm.
don't really watch a lot of British TV except for Doctor Who. So with a recurring guest, um, I actually can't think of any.
Okay.
So
No
it would
problem.
be hard for me to pick one because I do not have one that comes to mind at all.
Okay, that's fine. Well, let's move on. And
Okay.
we're now looking at the TARDIS. So, a favourite interior of the TARDIS?
Well, anything that we can see of the TARDIS except the console room is absolutely fantastic in my book, because I think that the TARDIS is largely unexplored, and I
Yeah.
think there could easily be entire episodes or even a whole season just inside the TARDIS. So anything there was an alternate console room uh, in the Tom Baker era. It was kind of gothic looking, where it was surprising. Like wait a second, the TARDIS has more than one console room. Um, so uh, my favorite TARDISes are any that shows anything except for the main console. Now, I think I know what you're getting at as far as favorite TARDIS with the main console room. Um, and I think I actually like the Shurigatwa TARDIS interior of present. I think it is absolutely wonderful. It's huge. There are some things about it that don't quite make sense, but I would have to say that one's probably my favorite at present.
Snap. It's actually my favourite. I
Cool.
think I always liked the clean cut lines of the earlier TARDIS
Mhm.
console rooms. And then this one is very much clean. It's
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I've said in the last episode. Maybe it's my OCD, but yeah, I do find the new one, yeah, the best. Now you mentioned this before. I think we've got the answer to this already. The next question was, do you prefer one companion or more than one companion? But you did say that you prefer more than one.
Well, that's a really good question, Phil. I was thinking about this earlier today. I was actually watching one of your other episodes this morning, and I saw where you asked a guest that. And I think it depends on how much character development can be fit into the companions. I think at present, with Doctor Who getting shorter and shorter and shorter, instead of like 26 episodes, then it went down to like 12, then 10, then 8 or whatever. I don't even know how many we have now. It's either 6 or 8. It's getting
Like,
shorter. So there's less time per season to develop a character. So I think with a shorter season, one character is ideal to be able to develop that character as much as possible. Now, back with Tegan, Nissa, Turlo, when you had a whole bunch of people, Adric, when you had all these people in and out with the Fifth Doctor's TARDIS, the seasons were longer, so there was more time to develop the characters. So
yeah,
I I think it goes both ways. If we had really long seasons, there's enough room for a bunch of companions.
okay,
But with a really short season, the inability to develop them seems that it's better to go with fewer.
yeah. Okay, last question in the icebreakers, although it seems to be done nearly quarter of an hour now, the icebreakers, but that's okay. It's all discussion about Doctor Who. That's what people are watching it for. Jelly babies or fish fingers and custard?
Well, I'm going to go with jelly babies because fish fingers and custard sounds pretty gross.
It
But
does. But
um,
if you
eh,
watch some of the episodes, some of my guests have tried it.
oh, really?
Yeah, and it's like it's
I'm
beyond.
not one of them. I have not tried it, but we get jelly babies here, and
Yeah.
they're actually imported from England, so I guess
Oh,
they're the real thing.
yeah, yeah. Right. So, you said earlier when you first started watching the show, because you gave us the exact episode of when you first watched it, but you've spoken about watching it with your wife, with your
Mhm.
nan. Was it your gran or nan? What did you?
My
Yeah,
grandmother, yeah, my
you
grandmother is who I started watching it with in the late 70s or the early 80s, long time
so,
ago.
so as it, so there's been some family elements to it. What does Doctor Who mean to you now?
Well, that's a really good question. Doctor Who to me now is not as important as what it used to be. In the past, see, I think I may have spoiled it a little bit for myself by getting too deeply involved in behind the scenes documentaries, the making ofs, even talking to people that have created content for the show. And at some point, Doctor Who went from the imaginary escapism uh, tool uh, that it was to something that pretty much think uh, I think one can learn a little bit too much about something. And it let me give you an example. If you take a popular American television program like Dallas or Magnum PI, Miami Vice, TJ Hooker, anything like that, those programs aired and there was no documentaries.
Yeah,
There was no behind the scenes. There were no interviews with the actors and what have you. And it seems as if British entertainment differs from American entertainment in that way. One of our first things that actually had a behind the scenes was Star Wars, but it was just some special that you either caught it while you were watching TV or you missed it. Because unless you had a VCR, you couldn't watch something anytime that you wanted. You had to be in front of the TV. So with Doctor Who today, to me, it is not as magic as what it used to be. and I think that it's because I overanalyzed it a lot,
Okay.
starting during lockdown when I started listening to Big Finish. But it's something I won't miss. You know, if it's going to be on TV, I'm going to watch it. And the last season is the only one I ever recall where I didn't make it through the whole season. I didn't. I still haven't watched a couple of the last episodes of that.
Which
But
happened to be the best ones.
are they really okay?
Yeah,
Well, I've got something to look forward to with that then.
yeah. It's like the early ones. I was quite surprised at how Space Babies was very Disneyfied. I don't know whether that's
Yeah,
a word, but it is now.
it was so silly. I didn't understand that at all. I
No,
the-
no.
this last season, I didn't watch it with my wife or kids, which I typically do, because they weren't interested, and I watched it with some groups of people in restaurants, where they thought it was amusing. I don't think anybody ever understood what was going on ever, myself included. But as far as it being Disneyfied, yeah, I can see that. That's a good word.
Try the last two episodes on your own. Watch it and try those last two episodes. I think that might turn your view slightly. That actually thing it's like that old song. Things can only get better. It's you
Right.
know it's more like the RTD from the Christopher Eccleston and David Tennant era. So those last two episodes are very much Doctor Who
Okay.
as we expect it, if you like. Um, now, let's take you back in time. Then let's ask you what it meant to you before it stopped meaning things to you. So back then, when you were grandmother.
Something to look forward to. See, we're talking about really long range here, and plus, I'm a father now. I have twin 8-year-old little girls, and after they were born, a lot of things in life changed meanings to me. Things that were important became of lesser importance, and things of lesser importance became very important. And with Doctor Who and other forms of entertainment, it used to be something that was just something magical to look forward to. You know, let's say you're at work, having a long day at work, and they want you to stay and work overtime because somebody else didn't come in, and you've been there for 10 or 12 hours and you're exhausted, but at the whole time you can think in the back of your mind, tonight I'm going to watch Doctor Who. And
Mhm,
I'm going to get in that TARDIS with those companions and that time traveler and go who knows where. And it used to have that escapism type of magic to
yeah.
me, and I was really surprised after the wilderness years when it came back on to see that it was actually real Doctor Who. Now it had changed. It didn't have as much of a stage play feel as the old original episodes did. It had changed, but it still had that element of escapism where during that 30, 40 minutes or an hour or however long, you're there in it
Mhm.
with the doctor and the companions.
You're absolutely right. And I've throughout this season, um, I've heard from so many guests the exact same thing, and it does
Really?
come down to there's a mental health issue. It's there, mental health aspect to it. Is that if you're having a bad day, like you said, you've got that to look forward to, and you
Hmm.
do switch off from everything else and escape in it. And woe betide anybody that wants to talk to you while it's on. That's all.
Right,
You
right.
know, get out. I'm watching Doctor Who. Get out. Shush. That's that's the way it used to be on a Saturday night when we watched it. Okay, so you started watching it when? How old were you when you started watching it? Sorry,
Oh God, I don't remember. I was an young teenager, I believe.
you're a
Uh,
teenager.
yeah, I was probably around 14 or 15, something like that.
So did you ever hide behind the sofa I don't know whether you've.
No. But yeah, I'm very familiar with that term. And it never really scared me because I was already kind of grown up. I never watched Doctor Who as a little kid. Uh, but I could imagine little kids being scared of the Daleks and what have you.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I never hid behind the sofa. My mum said I did, but I don't remember it.
Oh, did she?
But maybe she's right, and I'm wrong. Right. We spoke when we right at the beginning. One of the first questions I asked you, your favorite episode. Um, I want to explore that a bit more with you if I can. So,
Yeah.
tell me about that episode. Why you liked it? Why it was your favorite? How did you feel when you were in the TARDIS in your mind during that episode? What really stood out for you?
Well, the TARDIS wasn't in that episode a lot, but I like to tell this story, Phil. Thank you for asking. In the late 70s, I'm thinking it would have been around 1979, or possibly 80 when I started watching it and then started watching it with my grandmother. In America, we only had a couple of science fiction things. Battlestar Galactica was enough like Star Wars that people really liked it. And then, of course, Star Trek. Now, Star Trek had been in syndication for many years, so it was on repeatedly. And I had watched every episode of Star Trek. I managed to actually videotape all of the episodes.
Well,
And I had seen it so many times that I had a lot of the dialogue just memorized. So Star Trek for me was getting a little bit old. And we only had three or four television channels. I think there was ABC, NBC, CBS, and then there was PBS, the Public Broadcasting Service. And my father subscribed to a print magazine in the mail called TV Guide. And I remember I was looking through his TV guide, and I had been to the library uh, looking for videotapes of science fiction, and there really wasn't a whole lot. And I remember looking in his TV guide for science fiction, and Doctor Who was listed as British sci-fi. And I thought, wow, I wonder what that is. And what does this name mean? Doctor Who? What is that? Is that a name of the program? So I remember tuning into it one night, and I have no idea what was going on because I couldn't understand the accents. And we didn't have subtitles back then, which it sounds kind of silly for somebody that speaks English to have to use English subtitles to watch something in English, but I
yeah.
didn't understand the British
Uh,
accents, so I had
Listen,
no clue.
I don't understand some British accents, so don't worry about
Okay.
that.
So so to me it was very interesting.
Mm.
And the crazy afro-haired google-eyed guy was funny. The companion Leela was beautiful. You know, he's got this beautiful woman with him in this lighthouse, and apparently some people are getting killed. What? So it was very interesting to me, and I wish that I had recorded it because I would have wanted to watch that again to be able to try to see if I could figure out what in the world was going on. So then I learned of the TARDIS and realized, okay, wait a second, this thing can go anywhere. Okay, that's awesome. And then I started watching it with my grandmother, and we watched it through the end, uh, with the final episode in 1989.
Yeah,
Uh,
sad day.
well, we didn't know. We did not know that that was the last
Huh?
episode. We didn't. No, we didn't get. If we did get British news of any sort, we didn't watch or read it. So I had no way of knowing that that was the final episode.
So just
Uh,
stop in your view, it just stopped and that's it, gone.
I I did find out eventually, and I thought that's a real terrible shame right there.
Yeah,
I think that they may have actually finally mentioned it on PBS that there is not going to be any more Doctor Who, because PBS was very deeply into Doctor Who, and they had television fundraisers that would run in between the episodes, like commercials with everybody in cosplay, taking phone calls and accepting donations. Um, and it would have been on PBS where I learned that it had ended. Uh, and then at some point, it seemed like it was probably never going to come back.
But then it did in 1995 for one
Hmm.
episode, and then it was gone again um,
Yep.
for another 10 years. But, it came back, and it came back with a boom,
Yeah.
as I talked about already. Right, we're going to move on to have a little bit of fun now. So we're going to do the game.
Okay.
This week's game, or this episode's game, is the same. I've been running it recently, whereas I'm giving you a title of a Doctor Who episode or story, and you're to tell me the Doctor that did it, or the Doctor.
Okay. Okay.
Right? No points. We're not. It's all for fun. No prizes. Just have a laugh. These ones have been prepared by our editor, my son, Callum, who actually, after this episode finishes, is going to come on. It's not behind the scenes, don't worry. He's going to come on and just introduce himself and talk. So after this episode's finished, that'll be at the end, where we'll talk to the guy who has done all the work behind the scenes,
Awesome.
and talk to him. He's only been a Doctor Who fan for around about a year, so we're going to find out a bit about him and what he enjoys. But he's created these for you, so he's picked the episode titles. So I'll read them out to you and let's see how you get on. The Planet of Evil.
Planet of Evil. That would be a Tom Baker era.
Correct.
Okay.
The Almost People.
The Almost People.
Yep. I'll give you a clue. It's New Who.
Okay, I actually don't remember that episode.
Do you remember the doppelgangers? Do you remember them?
Yes, yes.
It was the one of those two episodes. It was a double one. So it was the 11th Doctor on that one. David Tennant.
Okay.
And sorry, not David Tennant. Matt Smith.
Matt Smith. Yeah, Matt
Yeah,
Smith.
I'm getting them wrong myself. Silver Nemesis.
Silver Nemesis. That would be Peter Davison era.
It was Colin Baker.
Oh, seriously? I was so sure.
Well, we can't get them all right. Well, somebody did last week, but never mind. Planet of the Giants.
I'm sorry, Planet of the what?
Giants.
Planet of the Giants.
Yeah.
That's the third Doctor. That's John Pertwee era.
It's the first Doctor.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm thinking of Planet of the Dinosaurs. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And I've got to apologise. The last one, Silver Nemesis, was not Colin Baker. It was
Sylvester McCoy.
Yes, it was. You got it
right.
Okay. The Visitation.
The Visitation, Peter Davison era.
It was. Wild Blue Yonder.
Wild Blue Yonder is Wild Blue Yonder. What would that be classified as? That is one of 3 specials with the return of David Tennant and Catherine Tate as Donna Noble, which aired last year, I believe.
Correct, and that's a 14.
Right.
That's what it cost us.
Yeah.
Right, this one is so easy. There's only 2 I can choose from, and this week it's the TV movie. I'm going to start including, TV movie.
Okay, that would be Paul McGann.
I'm going to start including next season. I'm going to include the some audio adventures because it's just getting ridiculous. The swap between the two every episode, every other episode. The Mind Robber.
The Mind Robber. Oh boy, Mind Robber.
Before your time, before my time.
Was that really the Troughton era?
Yeah, it was.
The Mind Robber. Yeah. That was from Patrick Troughton's time in the TARDIS.
Correct. Dot and Bubble.
Dot and Bubble, Shooty-Gatwa era at present.
Knock Knock.
Oh boy, Knock Knock. Peter Capaldi.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Carnival of Monsters.
Carnival of Monsters. John Pertwee.
Correct. Praxeus.
Praxeus was part of Flux, I believe. So that's going to be the Jodie Whittaker era.
Correct. The Two Doctors.
The Two Doctors would be the Patrick Troughton era as well.
That was Colin Baker. And
really?
Yes, Colin Baker.
Okay.
I'm with Patrick Troughton. I'm not sure who the other doctor was. I have to look into that.
Yeah, I got confused with the Big Finish title on that right there.
Right. Somebody will tell us in the comments once this episode's out.
Yeah.
Somebody that was from these two are in it. Right, 2 more to go. Turn left.
Okay. Turn left. I will never forget Donna sitting there in that car and having to make that decision. So that is the David Tennant. That's definitely the David Tennant era with Donna as the companion.
And the last one is Rose. Nice, easy one to finish.
Yeah. Christopher Eccleston and Billy Piper and Russell T Davies and that whole team of people that absolutely nailed it in bringing Doctor Who back.
They
absolutely amazing.
Now that believe it or not, you only got 2 wrong.
Really?
Yeah,
I'm surprised because I'm typically not very good at trivia.
No, to be honest, if somebody turned this round and it was interviewing me and created this, I would be absolutely rubbish. Because
really,
terrible. I would be. I just I can't connect them. I don't know what it is. I know what they are, and I'm thinking, which doctor was that? I don't know. I might get some right, but certainly not all of them. Certainly not for 12, 13 of them. But well done on that. Listen, we are coming to the end. I've had the little thing come up a while ago telling me that I've only got 10 minutes left. It's really been a pleasure to delve into what Doctor Who means to you. I'm so glad that we eventually got to do this.
Well, Phil, thank you for asking me. This has been really fun.
I'm going to have, as a special, at some point in season 2, I'm going to invite everybody back from season 1 to do an episode with all the guests, if I can arrange that.
Awesome.
But talking about something specific. Otherwise, everybody be talking over each other. So I'll have to work that one out myself how we can do that. But I would like to get everyone together. A bit of a party on Zoom, really, a bit like the pandemic. We'll pretend it's the pandemic.
Sounds like fun. Count me in.
Yeah, but thank you very much, and you have a good evening. And I hope that you enjoy the last 2 episodes of Shooty-Gatwa's era, and that gives you a bit of a boost ready for season 2.
Well, I like saving things up. And having them to look forward to, and now you have me even more excited about when I decide to go ahead and sit down and watch those. Two episodes at least that I have not seen yet, and that's always cool to have.
Oh, of course it is. Of course it is. My son, who's coming up next, he obviously only been into it for a year, but the back catalogue he has to watch is tremendous. Imagine how exciting it would be to come in and have so much. I'm going to ask that question when I speak to him in a minute. But that, because to be honest, with that, it must be so exciting to have
no doubt.
any of the
Right. You know, that reminds me of back when we were talking about how Doctor Who is always something to look forward to. I
Yeah,
still remember getting on eBay back in the early 2000s and ordering Doctor Who episodes on VHS tape. And just the excitement of knowing I have a Doctor Who episode I haven't seen yet coming in the mail. It may
yeah,
take a couple of weeks to get here, but all that time, it was exciting to have something to look forward to, Doctor Who wise.
absolutely. Well, thank you so much for coming on. You have a good evening, and you take care of yourself.
Okay, you too, Phil. Thank you very much
Thank,
for asking me on. I had a good time.
no problem. And welcome back to the second part of the last episode of season 1 of the WhoTube show. And for a while now, for 10 episodes, sitting patiently behind the screen somewhere, editing the show and making the thing you can see behind me there, the WhoTube logo, all that kind of stuff. You've seen his name, and finally, we're going to see him on the screen. Welcome to YouTube, Callum.
Hello.
How does
Pleasure to
it
be here.
feel? Well, how does it feel after watching so many videos on YouTube yourself?
Well, it's an honor. I've never done this before. So a bit nervous, but I'm sure I'll be fine.
Don't be nervous. You've seen me do a show before. You know I'm
Yeah.
okay with it. Just relax. Imagine there's nobody watching. Forget
Yeah.
that there are thousands of people watching.
Yeah.
Oops.
Put
Shouldn't
back on
have
my mind. I'm fine.
So what we're going to do is it's a shorter segment. We're going to do with some icebreakers,
Mhm.
and then I'm going to talk to you about Doctor Who, because
Yeah.
Doctor Who to you is relatively new. About a
Yeah.
year you've been watching it, maybe. But
Yeah, about a year.
yeah,
Around 20 end of 2020. No, like halfway through 2023. So yeah.
yes. So there you go. So I'm going to start with some icebreakers.
Right, go on.
You won't. I won't expect you to name things that are favourites from the classic series.
I'll try my best. I'll
You
try my
can,
best.
but let's go for them. So far in everything you watch, your favourite episode or story?
My favorite episode at the moment, I would probably have to go with The Empty Child and the Doctor Dances. They're just incredible. Like, and the Everybody Lives thing at the end just was a brilliant thing to watch. I really
Yes.
enjoyed it. And I gave it like a 9.7 out of 10. So yeah,
Okay, great choice. And your favourite Doctor?
definitely
New and
David
classic.
Tennant. Definitely David Tennant. Matt Smith coming in second place. Uh, David Tennant, it's just like the really like serious personality mixed with the funny, like cheerful moments. Just it really works. He's a great actor. So yeah,
He is indeed.
so
Great choice.
good that they brought him back. So yeah,
Yeah, and of course, he was your first Doctor, really, wasn't he? So,
yeah,
your first experience of Doctor Who was him. So, it's a bit like me. And oh, for people that don't know, by the way, who haven't connected the dots yet, at the end of the show when they look at the credits, because some people switch off and don't look at those. But you're my son,
yeah,
so not
yeah.
everybody knows. So you're my son, and
Mhm.
I've been waiting 14 years for you to like Doctor Who. I
Yeah.
can I
Well, we
can
took 13. So
13, yes. Rather than I did try and get you to watch it when you were 1, but you just weren't interested.
well, I was
Now
1. I didn't remember anything when I was 1.
I'm joking. Your favorite companion?
Um, definitely Donna. Which I think just the friendly banter between her and 10 really works, and 14 as well. Uh, and she also introduces like the most amazing side characters or side character Will. So yeah,
Yes, yes. Your favorite logo?
I would have to go probably with like the second one from the RTD1 era, like the orangey red one. It's like the first one that like was from Christopher Eccleston's era wasn't great. It was just kind of boring. But all them like Time Lord sort of colors really work as a logo for Doctor Who. It feels really spacey and stuff.
They do. Now, the next question you're not going to be able to answer, really. You have seen, think, maybe 2 episodes. This is the spin-off question. You've heard me ask it to loads of people, but you haven't watched any yet, really, have you?
Yeah, no.
2 episodes of Sarah Jane. So we'll miss that
I'm
one.
guessing Unleashed doesn't. I'm guessing Unleashed and Confidential, they don't count.
Well, you can do. Let's have those. Favorite villain, monster, or alien? The favorite adversary.
Definitely the Master, specifically John Sims' Master. Um, I like the parallels with the Doctor. Um, and I also kind of like. The other thing I would say, I wish he was just a bit more scary. That's why I
He's
like Weeping
nuts.
Angels as well.
Yeah, he is nuts.
Yeah.
John, nuts. Um, you haven't seen any of Missy yet, so I'm going to skip that question.
I'm sure she'll be good.
I think I know the answer to this one. You've mentioned him already. I'm sure it's going to be the same one again. Your favourite guest star?
Wilfred Mark, my favorite character in the whole show.
Yes, he
He's
is
just
brilliant.
he's funny. He's he's like always positive and stuff. Even when they were like everyone would be turned into the Master, you know. And
Yeah,
he's Wilf. You can't not love him.
no, you're right there. And your favourite interior of the TARDIS?
Definitely Shooty's interior. Like it like takes what's good from the classic and what's good from modern and smashes them together, making the perfect interior.
It is brilliant. Do you prefer one companion or more?
This is an interesting one, really, because like it really depends on the way it's done. Like I think Rory and Amy work well as like 2 companions, but then stuff like the fam from the 13th Doctor's era really it's just too many characters and they don't get enough like development for each one.
Yeah.
So overall I would actually go with one companion because there's more times that one companion's worked rather than 2.
Yeah, and you know what? I've heard that in perhaps the majority of times that I've asked this over the 10 episodes. Right, last question before we go on to some other stuff. Jelly babies or fish fingers and custard?
Jelly babies, I've got some here.
Excellent. Apart from the
Fish
black
things
one,
in custard sounds disgusting. Like
it,
imagine the fish things going all soggy and ugh.
it was he Matt Smith. It was actually marzipan.
Still doesn't. Just the thought of it. Just ugh.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So tell the people when you've already mentioned it, but just confirm, when was the first time you saw Doctor Who and what episode was it?
Well, I first saw it in 2022. When I saw you watching Eve of the Daleks, and I kind of watched the rest of it with you. But the first full episode I watched was Voyage of the Damned in like mid 2023. And I just went with stuff from there.
Yeah. Right. So you've come into Doctor Who, and this is something that people like me can't really comprehend, because I've been watching it since I was a little boy, and I'm quite obviously a lot older than you. Um, you know, I've been watching it probably over the last 40 years, maybe.
Hmm.
Uh, and you, though, have come in with such a lot of backstories. You know, the old classic stuff. Yes, the sets may have been a bit wobbly. The monsters the costumes may have been a bit ropey. CGI was pretty much non-existent. And you've but if you ignore that, the stories are excellent. And
Yeah.
you have come in and you've got such a back catalogue to watch. How does that make you feel, knowing
I
that you like it?
just excitement, like not knowing what's going to come next.
Yeah,
For anyone that's not watched Doctor Who yet, I suggest like if you it doesn't matter whether you start with classic or modern, just try watch it in order and try and avoid spoilers.
yeah, definitely. You've only so far you've only watched one story from the classic era.
One and
Uh,
a bit. I watched a bit of Earthshock, and
oh,
I also watched no. I've watched 2 and a bit of Earthshock. Um, sorry. I also watched Genesis of the Daleks, and Pyramids of Mars.
Yes. Oh, yes, of course. You watched that in preparation for the finale of Shooting Atlas first season, didn't you?
Oh, and my favorite classic Doctor is Tom Baker. Yeah,
well, why not? He is the best.
yeah, so far.
My favorite as well. So you're not going to beat him throughout all. No, I mean they're all good in their own way, but you know you've got the 12th Doctor to come. That's your sort of next Doctor, really, isn't it?
Yeah, because I've done 11th and
Yeah,
10 and 9.
You told people not to. You told people to watch it in order, but you didn't really.
Yeah, that was one of my mistakes.
But it's not a mistake, really. You've got, you saw a great actor in Matt Smith. You have got the 12th Doctor to come, and in that he meets the first Doctor at one of them his stories. So you have got that to come, which is exciting. But you have got such a lot to watch, and it must be incredible to be in your shoes. You've also played the VR game, haven't you? What's the game's called?
The Edge of Time, I think.
Yeah, and what's that like then, having to not blink?
I mean, you don't have to not blink. The technology isn't that advanced, but if you like, I wanted to see what would happen if I looked away, and they like got really, the Weeping Angel on one of the levels got really close, and it was like actually first time I've been properly scared playing a video game.
Yeah, well, it must be in the VR sense. It's so real, isn't it? You let me have it. It's crazy, but what does now in your life? What does Doctor Who mean to you? So I'm talking about when new episodes come along, live new episodes. What does it mean to you? What's special about it?
I think the most special thing is nobody knows what's going to happen because they're brand new, and also the theorizing. Like that's one of my favorite bits about anything that I watch. Just anything I enjoy just theorizing about what's going to happen next.
And have you been right when you've been theorizing most of the time, or
No, I haven't. Especially with Russell T Davies's writing, there's always like unexpected stuff happening.
Yes, it is. It is. Well, there's another question, and this is one, and you can ask your mum about this one. So for me, if Doctor Who is on, I don't want anybody phoning me, talking to me, anything like that. No disrespect to anybody. I even told your mum, no, Doctor Who's on, and she always did. She always left me alone. Is anybody allowed to call you or text you while Doctor Who's on?
I mean, I don't know how, but no one really has. Like, sometimes people will like text me, and then I'll remember, oh yeah, I probably should put my phone on silent. But most of the time, no one really like ends up sending any text messages during those times. So I just guess I'm just lucky.
Yeah. Do you get drawn into the actual show itself?
Yeah.
As if you're there,
whenever I like do like if let's say if I'm reading, I'm watching someone, I'm playing a game, I always like get drawn into it, and then like so something will happen around me. I'm like, oh yeah, that's happening and stuff. So yeah, I do get drawn in. Yeah.
Do you feel like you're one of the companions sometimes, or
Not quite. I feel like well, of course I'm watching them, but still, yeah.
is it like for me? It's kind of like I get drawn in, and nothing else matters for that 45 minutes. So it doesn't matter for me anything else. Life pressures, for you, the exams and studying and homework and all that. For 45 minutes, that's out the window for me. Is it the same for you?
Well, at the moment it's summer, so I don't really have any of that to worry about. But during school, it's just like something to wind down at the end of the day as well. That's why I always look forward to Mondays, like when I watch it. So yeah.
So, of course, that's what you do. You come here on a Monday and you watch the old ones. What has been your most memorable moment watching Doctor Who so far?
Definitely when we went to see Empire of Death, and The Legend of Ruby Sunday in the cinema. Like just it was so like different in the cinema. Like even like the room was like shaking when like how loud the title sequence was. It was just crazy. So yeah, I
It,
really enjoyed that.
it is it is impressive. It is impressive. Um, right. So now you mentioned earlier your favorite episode. Um, tell me a bit more about that. Why is it your favorite episode? What do you really like about it?
I like well, first of all, Christopher Eccleston's a great actor. I like the horror elements. That's something that really is important, like the horror elements of Doctor Who. Um, the setting, the music, like I really like Glenn Miller's music. And then of course like the writing, like that's one of Russell T Davies's best episodes, or uh, two episodes. Uh and
Wasn't it
it's
Steve
just
Moffat or wasn't he doing that? Right?
hmm? What was that?
Was it Stephen Moffat that wrote those?
Oh yeah. No, that's why it was so good.
Yeah,
Yeah, but like Russell T Davies is showrunner, so like
yeah.
he obviously had some part in it. So
Of course he did. Of course he did. It was a masher of Russell T Davies and Stephen Moffat.
yeah, I think
Probably
that was why it
the
was
best
so
right.
good. Just the best of both.
Yeah. So the best writers on television at the time for whatever they did. Right. So, I mean, this is meant to be a shortened thing, so we are coming to a close.
Hmm.
But I personally wanted in front of how many thousand people watch this episode, I wanted to thank you personally for the
Yeah.
effort that you've put in doing the editing, because without you, this wouldn't have happened.
Thank you.
It wouldn't. Well, it certainly wouldn't have been as good. I've tried YouTube things before myself, and I've had some success, but not to the level that the WhoTube show has been. And I think most people would echo my thanks. Those people that have been on and those people that watch it. So thank you very much, and I hope you continue it through season
I
2.
think I will. I really enjoy it. Like it's just like most people, even if they do it, they do enjoy it. They just do it for money. But for me, I'm not bothered about money. Of course, we're not currently making anything because we haven't got ads yet on the show. But I'm not bothered. I just enjoy editing it and being a part of a project like this.
Well, thank you very much, and
Thank you for recording the episodes and giving me the opportunity.
no, well, it's a pleasure, and this is it, the end of season 1.
Yeah.
How what's your thoughts on it? How do you think it's gone?
I'm really surprised at how fast it's grown. I can't wait to do all these like specials and stuff. I've got big things planned, like on my end of the project for these specials. So I hope everyone who's watching will enjoy seeing those when they come around.
I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will. So I'll leave it to you, actually. So I've been doing all the goodbyes throughout the whole season. So this is episode 10, the final 30 seconds. It's your stage. You can say goodbye to the world watching.
Thank you everyone for sticking with us from these few weeks. Sorry about all the delays. To just what happens. Uh, we've got our bearings now, so it's going to be even better in season 2, and I look forward to seeing you then. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye bye.